welcome back to another video. So today is actually my birthday and I thought it might be fun if you would come along with me and spend the day with me. I'm just going to be getting some birthday freebies like Starbucks and you know, all the free birthday rewards that people give you, like companies give you. And then also I thought it might be fun to go browse at a bookstore. I do have a gift card to my local bookstore. It's actually right up the road from my house, so it's really close. I don't necessarily plan on buying anything. I definitely don't need to buy any books, but I thought if I find something, I have a gift card, I can get it, and yeah, it'll be fun. So it's mainly going to be like book browsing. We're not really book shopping, but I just want to take you along with me and we could spend the day together and it'll be really fun. I do have a class later today, so that is not the best, but it's okay. I'll get to see some friends. But this morning I actually did finish my current read as well, so I thought it might be fun if we could start a new book together as well, and I will tell you about that later. Without further ado, let's just get started. I'm very excited. I turned 22, so I want to make the most of today and just have a fun, cozy, enjoyable day. Alright, the lighting's not very good here, I'm sorry, but I've just arrived at the bookstore. I stopped at Dutch Bros just now, and I've only had Dutch Bros once before, and it was during the summer when they had like just opened near me, and I got like a lemonade, so I haven't really had their coffee before, so I don't know what to expect. The girl working there was so nice, first of all. She was so sweet. I asked her if this like seasonal flavor was any good, and she said people have been loving it, so I got that. And she was like, do you want to get a large since it's your free drink? I was like, sure. And then she also gave me like 3 free stickers. They're so cute. This one says Killer Coffee. That is adorable. And then this one says Death Before Decaf. And then this one is Rad to the Bone. It's got like a little espresso tool. I don't even know what that's called. But yeah, that is just so sweet. And yeah, it was just very generous of her. She was so kind. So I just thought it would be fun to like try this. This is freaking massive. Like this is this is as big as my head. This is almost bigger than my head. But it looks really good. This is a maple waffle latte. I think that's what it's called. All right, let's give it a try. I'm excited. I hope it's good. Okay, I expected that to be like way super sweet, but it's actually like perfect. Like it's the perfect amount of like coffee taste and like flavor that I like. I don't like when coffees are like way too sweet. I like when you can actually taste the coffee. Okay, that's really good. I like this. I approve of the maple waffle latte from Dutch Bros. Alright, I'm kind of getting like warm. I just finished at the bookstore. It was so cute in there. I definitely need to come here more because I just love the vibes, the whole aesthetic and everything. They have a bookstore cat, So cute. She was just, I think it's a girl, she was just sitting there. And I gave her a little pet and she was just napping. It was so adorable. And they had so many cute stickers. I loved the Team Charlie one. That one was very tempting. I almost got that one. But yeah, and they had so many sections. They had a fantasy section, they had a dark romance section, which I checked out, but that is not what I read, so it was kind of spooky. Like, it was really cute, but I was like, I will not be reading any of these books. And then they had a young adult section, sports romance, contemporary romance, historical, and kind of like a new releases section. So yeah, I definitely want to go back, and I love that place so much, but I ended up having $40 on my gift card, which was very unexpected. I didn't think I would have that much. I thought it would be like 20 or something. So I actually was able to get 2 books, which I know I said I wasn't going to get that much, but I was expecting the gift card to have way less on it than it actually did. So I got 2 books because it covered it, and I only paid like $1 for these, so I'm really excited. So I'll give you the book haul later, actually. Alright, so it is currently 12 o'clock and my class is at 2:30, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go sit in the library for about an hour, work on my book for that long, or as long as possible before I need to leave, and then since the Jimmy John's is on the way, I'm gonna stop and pick the sandwich up on the way, and then I can just bring it to school with me because I'll just go to campus a little bit early for my class, that way I'm like there on time. However, I do still need to go to Nothing Bundt Cakes and pick up my free little birthday cake, so maybe I'll do that after my class, but I would like to fit that in sometime today. I'm not really sure when. There's a Starbucks on campus, so I'll get my free Starbucks drink from there as well. So let's just go. Alright everyone, I'm back in my car. I feel like this entire video is in my car, but I've just been driving around all day. I actually just picked up my free Jimmy John's sandwich, so I'm going to enjoy that here in a bit. And then I did also get my bundt cake. It had a banana pudding flavor. I think it has vanilla wafers, so it sounds really good. I love banana pudding, so I'm definitely going to enjoy this later. And yeah, I actually ended up having a really good writing session at the library. A table opened up, so I was able to get a really nice spot by the window, and I just turned on some music and I wrote about 670 words, so close to 700. Pretty good writing session. I'm not like super happy with what I wrote. The way my book is going, I feel like I'm kind of lost in the plot and I don't know where to take things, but I'm just trying to make consistent progress with it every single day. So yeah, it ended up being really, really nice. My AirPods were dead, unfortunately, so that was kind of annoying, but it's okay. I use my wired ones. But yeah, I do have to head down to class soon, so I think I'm just going to sit here and eat my sandwich in my car and then head to campus. So I will talk to you then. Alright everyone, so I'm back home finally from my errands and my class today. It was really, really nice. The weather was so good today. I'm very grateful that I wasn't just like freezing to death walking to campus. But the day is not over for me. I'm planning to, as soon as I finish updating you, I'm going to watch an episode of House of the Dragon with my boyfriend. We just started season 2, so I'm very excited to start that. Episode 1 ended on a cliffhanger, so I'm itching to keep watching. And then later tonight we're going to have pizza and some cake or pie. I don't really know. My mom is surprising me. And then I might read a bit. I don't really know, but I'm just going to enjoy my night and make it as cozy and as fun as possible. But before I change and get comfy, I wanted to give you a quick little book haul. It's nothing too crazy, but I did get a couple books today from the bookstore and from the library, so I wanted to show you those. So I will start with my library haul. I only picked up 1 book, and I actually wasn't planning on it, but when I went to go write, before like a table opened up, I was just sitting like in a little chair in the corner and I spotted this book on the shelf and I was like, oh wow, that's surprising that that is actually there, because this seems like a popular title for me. But then I realized it's the large print edition, so it makes sense why there is like a random copy of this here. But this is on my 26 books to read in 2026 list, so I definitely want to read it. I also just read another book by this author that I gave 5 stars. I love this author so much, so I picked up a copy of Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This came out recently recently in 2025, and I've seen a lot of people love it. I've seen a lot of people like cry over it, and so I'm really curious to see what I think. I'm not super familiar with what the actual plot is about, but I know it follows a female astronaut named Joan. It says Joan Goodwin has been obsessed with the stars for as long as she can remember. She is content with her life as a professor of physics and astronomy and as aunt to her precocious niece, Frances, until she comes across an advertisement seeking the first women scientist to join NASA's Space Shuttle program. Suddenly, Joan bursts to be one of the few people to go to space. Selected from a pool of thousands of applicants in the summer of 1980, Joan begins training at Houston's Johnson Space Center alongside an exceptional group of fellow candidates, Top Gun pilot Hank Redmond and scientist John Griffin, easygoing even when the stakes are high, mission specialist Lydia Danes, who has worked too hard to play nice, warm-hearted Donna Fitzgerald, navigating her own secrets, and Vanessa Ford, the magnetic and mysterious aeronautical engineer who can fix any engine and fly any plane. As they become unlikely friends and prepare for their first flights, Joan finds a love she never imagined. In this new light, Joan begins to question everything she thinks she knows about her place in the observable universe. Then, in December of 1984, on mission STS-LR9, it all changes in an instant. So yeah, like Taylor Jenkins Reid's other books, I'm sure this is going to be very deep, very emotional, follow a lot of intriguing and compelling characters, and I'm also just interested in the NASA, like, space training setting. I feel like I've never read a book about that before. I also feel like it'll be a fast read because I did get the large print edition, so the text is like humongous on this page. I actually didn't even intend to do that. And I would like to own this book in the future, but I figured I'd grab it while I can, and I feel like I'll read this pretty quickly. So I am adding this to my March TBR. So now we will move on to the bookstore haul. Like I said, I didn't get that much, and I'm surprised I ended up getting both the books that I was kind of like expecting to get. Not that I had like planned to buy them, but when my gift card came out to $40, I was very surprised, so I took advantage of it. You know, it's my birthday. So the first book I picked out actually came out yesterday, which is And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. This is the second book in the Heartstrings series, which the first book was First Time Caller, which I read earlier this month and I gave 5 stars. I love this book so much. Also, how cute are these covers? I think they're gonna look so good next to each other on the shelf. But this follows the side character in First Time Caller named Jackson, who's like the weatherman at the radio station, and so he is rivals with this other radio meteorologist named Delilah, and they're kind of complete opposites. Like, Jackson thrives on routine and organization from the comfort of his radio booth. Delilah loves the spontaneity and adventure out in the field. When they're partnered against their will to cover a historic snowstorm, they find themselves scrambling to figure out how to work together. Eager to be taken seriously as a journalist, Delilah offers Jackson a deal. If he can help her ace this assignment, she'll help him rediscover his long-lost fun side. So it's like an unlikely partnership situation. I'm really curious about this. I feel like it'll be very cute again. And this is based on When Harry Met Sally, which I actually have seen that movie, but I hadn't seen Sleepless in Seattle, which I believe First Time Caller was based on. Yeah, this was based on. I hadn't seen that movie, but I still love this book, so I feel like it has been a long time since I have watched When Harry Met Sally, but I feel like this will still be super cute. I really like Jackson's character in the first book, and I'm just curious about all the weather stuff as well, so this will be really fun to read. I'm hoping to read this in March too, but either way, I'm excited to get to this one. The next book I got also came out yesterday, and I did receive an ARC of this on NetGalley. I made it about like 40% through on my iPad, which was where I was reading it, but I had a lot of trouble focusing on it. I think it was just reading on the screen instead of like flipping the pages. I couldn't tell like where we were in location and stuff. I couldn't, like, there wasn't a map on the ARC. I couldn't see where we were in relativity to other places, and it was just kind of like made it confusing, but I didn't want that to ruin the book for me, so I kind of put it on pause and I waited until the actual physical copy came out. But that is The Trident and the Pearl by Sarah K.L. Wilson. This is the first book in a new series called The Fisher King, and I just think this cover is so pretty. But I actually put my bookmark in where I left off, which was chapter 14, so I'm on page 166. I definitely think I'm going to reread some of this and kind of like jog my memory. I don't know if I'll restart it necessarily, but I think even if I do, like, the margins on this are huge, and I feel like the text is also pretty big, so I don't think it'll take me too long to like catch up if I really needed to do this, especially because this does have a beautiful map. So now I can see where everything is, I can flip back to everything, and like it'll really help me visualize and picture it. I just feel like with a fantasy I need to see that map. But as for a plot summary of this follows Queen Corlys, ruler of the Crocus Isles, and she kneels to no one. But when her kingdom is besieged by a terrible hurricane, killing her husband and destroying half her nation, she is forced to make a deal with the gods for salvation. But the gods have a wicked sense of justice, and they demand payment for their help. Corlys must give up her titles and marry the first man to set foot on her pier, a poor, wounded fisherman with broad shoulders and dark power in his eyes. Corlys keeps her promise and sets out with him in his dinghy, with only the hope of revenge against the gods to keep her from despair. But her new husband hides his own secrets, a link to the gods that may make him her enemy or her ally, and a mysterious list of impossible feats waiting to be crossed off. However, learning to trust each other will be their greatest challenge, because only together can they stop the enemies gathering at her kingdom's shores. So what I have read from this, I'm really enjoyed. I'm really excited to dive back into it and, you know, give it another chance. Not that I wasn't liking it, but just fully connect to it and hopefully fall in love with it. So those were the 2 books I bought today. But my friend Haley kindly sent me a birthday gift, which was so sweet of her. She did not need to do that, but she sent me The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. And I've wanted to read this for a really long time. I've heard really good things about this, particularly from this author. Haley has read a couple other books, I believe, by this author, and so she hasn't read this one, but she has liked those books. And then I have another friend who loves this book, and she was like begging me to read it, so I'm really excited to start it. Basically, to keep the premise short, it says a woman risks everything to end her family's centuries-old curse, solve her mother's disappearance, and find love. So it takes place in this small mountain town called Jasper, North Carolina, where the main character, June Farrow, it says she's waiting for fate to find her. The Farrow women are known for their thriving flower farm and for the mysterious curse that has plagued their family line. The whole town remembers the madness that led to Susanna Farrow's disappearance, leaving her daughter June to be raised by her grandmother and haunted by rumors. So I feel like this will be a really interesting family story with a lot of strong female characters. I'm curious about June Farrow herself and like how she will solve things, because there's also going to be like a mystery of sorts with small town vibes, which sounds like a really good combination. So that is all for my miniature book haul. I'm very, very happy to have these copies, even though Atmosphere isn't technically mine, but I have a feeling I'm gonna love this book and end up getting a physical copy anyways. I will have to make room on my shelves for these, but that is another day's mission. But now I'm going to go get into some comfy clothes, and we're going to watch an episode of House of the Dragon. And then hopefully later tonight I can have some time to sit down, read, and start my new book, which will be Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I just finished reading Tower of Dawn this morning, and it was such a good ending, and I just immediately am gonna jump into this. There's other books that I want to read. I want to start my new reads right away, but I cannot wait to start this book. I'm terrified, but I'm so excited. It's a long-awaited end to this series for me, and even though this is like a little bit under 900 pages, I'm not scared at all, because I read Tower of Dawn in like 2 weeks, and Empire of Storms was like the same way, so I have a feeling I'll fly through this, but I'm excited to finally start this. I will update you when I do, so I'm gonna go get changed, and I will talk to you in a bit. It is the next day and my birthday is officially over. The celebrations are not. I will be doing something this weekend and next week with my family, but the actual day is done. But it was such a great day. I really, really enjoyed my birthday this year. It was probably the best I've had in a couple years. I feel like every year on my birthday, I either set my expectations too high or something goes wrong, or, you know, something happens and I get upset for whatever reason. But this year I actually had the most perfect day. It was really enjoyable and just overall a really positive, fun experience. And I'm so happy that I have lived another year and I've reached level 22. But I did read a little bit, just a little bit of Kingdom of Ash last night, and this morning I ended up getting up to page 32, which is chapter 3, which is barely even a dent into this ginormous book. So not that much progress, but I'm happy to at least have started a new book and read a little bit of it. But this is the end of this video, so thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed spending my birthday with me, coming along to the bookstore, and to all my things yesterday. I really had a lot of fun. I would love for you to subscribe and we can hang out more in my next videos, maybe do a couple more day in the life here soon, like not birthday, just like regular life. But yeah, thank you so much again for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!